So today's class is a continuation of the unit we finished up on last week, fallacies and argumentation, and it's also the last class of this course. So today's goals are to learn how to construct arguments, learn how to analyze arguments, and review the fallacies and argumentation unit with examples from The Simpsons. So today we'll be going over constructing arguments, analyzing arguments, unit review, and then homework plus the end of course project. Constructing arguments. So this course presents many logical tools. These can help turn mushy thinking into clear reasoning. You should use these logical tools where appropriate in your own reading and writing. Imagine that your ethics teacher gives you this assignment. Suppose you work for a small company called Mushy Software. You can get a big contract for your company, but only by bribing an official of Enormity Incorporated. Would it be right for you to offer the bribe? Write a paper taking a position on this. Give a clear argument explaining the reasoning behind your answer. From your study of logic, you know that an argument is a set of statements divided into premises and a conclusion. The assignment tells you to construct a valid argument along these lines. Insert plausible premise, insert plausible premise. Therefore, offering the bribe is or is not right. Phrase your argument as clearly and simply as possible, and make sure that it's valid in some acceptable logical system. After sketching various arguments, you might arrive at this, which is valid in syllogistic and quantificational logic. No dishonest act is right. Offering the bribe is a dishonest act. Therefore, offering the bribe is not right. When you propose an argument, it's wise to ask how an opponent could object to it. While the form here is clearly valid, there might be some difficulty with the premises. How could an opponent attack the premises? One way to attack a universal claim is to find a counterexample. So, counterexample. To refute all A is B, find something that's A, but not B. To refute no A is B, find something that's A and also B. Premise 1 says no dishonest act is right. You could refute this by finding an action that's dishonest and also right. Can you think of any such action? Imagine a case in which the only way to provide food for your starving family is by stealing. Presumably, stealing here is dishonest but also right. So we could say, this act of stealing is a dishonest act. This act of stealing is right. Therefore, some dishonest acts are right. This is valid in syllogistic and quantificational logic. So if the premises here are true, then premise 1 of your original argument is false. Modus tollens gives another simple way to attack a claim. To refute claim A, find a clearly false claim B that A implies. Then argue as below. If A, then B, not B, therefore not A. Try to find some clearly false claim that one of the premises implies. This argument seems to work. If no dishonest act is right, then it wouldn't be right to steal food for your starving family when this is needed to keep them from starving. It would be right to steal food for your starving family when this is needed to keep them from starving. Therefore, some dishonest acts are right. This is valid in propositional logic. If the premises are true, then premise 1 of your original argument is false. This modus tollens objection is similar in intent to the counterexample objection, but phrased differently. So how can you respond to the objection? You have three options. So the first one is a counterattack. Attack the arguments against your premise. Second one is reformulate. Reword your original premises so they avoid the objection but still lead to your conclusion. The third one is to change your strategy. Trash your argument and try another approach. On the counterattack opinion, you maintain that the arguments against your premise either are invalid or else have false premises. Here you might claim that stealing is wrong in this hypothetical case. This would be biting the bullet, taking a stand that seems to go against common sense in order to defend your theory. Here you'd claim that it's wrong to steal to keep your family from starving. This is a difficult bullet to bite. On the reformulate option, you'd rephrase premise 1 to avoid the objection, but still lead to your conclusion. You might add the qualification, no dishonest act that isn't needed to avoid disaster is right. You'd have to explain what avoid disaster here means, and you'd have to add another premise that says offering the bribe isn't needed to avoid disaster. Then you look for further objections to the revised argument. On the change strategy option, you trash your original argument and try another approach. You might, for example, argue that offering the bribe is right or wrong because it's legal or illegal, or accords with or violates the self-interest of the agent, or maximizes or doesn't the long-term interests of everyone affected by the action. Then again, you'd have to ask whether there are objections to your new argument. As you refine your reasoning, it's helpful to imagine a little debate going on. First, present your argument to yourself. Then pretend to be your opponent and try to attack the argument. You might even enlist your friends to come up with objections. That's what professional philosophers do. Then imagine yourself trying to reply to your opponent. Then pretend to be your opponent and try to attack your reply. Repeat the process until you're content with the position you're defending and the argumentation behind it. Analyzing arguments. To get better at analyzing arguments, get into the habit of sketching a premise-conclusion version of arguments that you read or hear. Often the arguments will be as simple as a modus tollens. If A, then B, not B, therefore not A. But sometimes they'll get more complicated. It's important to listen and read carefully, with the aim of getting at the heart of the reasoning. Here are 4 steps that you may find helpful in analyzing arguments in things you read. The steps are especially useful when you write an essay on an author's reasoning, but you also can use them to critique your own writing. The steps assume that the passage contains reasoning and not just description. Step 1. Formulate the argument in English. Identify and write out the premises and conclusion. Aim for a valid argument expressed clearly and directly. Use the principle of charity. Interpret unclear reasoning in the way that gives the best argument. Supply implicit premises where needed. Avoid emotional terms, and phrase similar ideas in similar words. This step can be difficult if the author's argument is unclear. Translate into some logical system and test for validity. For step 2. If the argument is invalid, you might try step 1 again with a different formulation. If you can't get a valid argument, you can skip the next 2 steps. Step 3. Identify difficulties. Star controversial premises. Underline obscure or ambiguous terms. Explain what you think the author means by these. Step 4. Appraise the premises. Try to decide if the premises are true. Look for informal fallacies, especially circularity and ambiguity. Give further arguments, your own or the author's, for or against the premises. Let's try this on a famous passage from David Hume. Since morals, therefore, have an influence on the actions and affections, it follows that they cannot be derived from reason, and that because reason alone, as we have already proved, can never have any such influence. Morals excite passions and produce or prevent actions. Reason of itself is utterly impotent in this particular. The rules of morality, therefore, are not conclusions of our reason. No one, I believe, will deny the justness of this inference, nor is there any other means of evading it than by denying that principle on which it is founded. As long as it is allowed that reason has no influence on our passions and actions, 'tis in vain to pretend that morality is discovered only by deduction of reason. An active principle can never be founded on an inactive. So that's from David Hume, A Treatise of Human Nature. So first read the passage several times. Focus on the reasoning and try to put it into words. It usually takes several tries to get a clear argument. Here our analysis might look like this. All moral judgments influence our actions and feelings. Nothing from reason influences our actions and feelings. Therefore, no moral judgments are from reason. Next, translate into some logical system and test for validity. Here we could use either syllogistic or quantificational logic. So for syllogistic, we have all M is I, no R is I, therefore no M is R. And here we have the quantificational logic, which we haven't covered yet. So the argument tests out valid in either case. Next, identify difficulties. Star controversial premises and underline obscure or ambiguous terms. So we can star all moral judgments, underline influence, our actions and feelings, star nothing from underline reason, underline influences, our actions and feelings. Therefore, no moral judgments are from underlying reason. Try to figure out what Hume meant by these underlined words. By reason, Hume seems to mean the discovery of truth or falsehood. Thus we can rephrase his argument as follows. Star all moral judgments, underline influence, our actions and feelings. Star no discovery of truth or falsehood, underline influences our actions and feelings. Therefore, no moral judgments are discovery of truth or falsehood. So influences is also tricky. X influences Y could have either of two meanings. X independently of our desires influences Y, or X when combined with our desires influences Y. Finally, appraise the premises. If we take influences in the first sense, then there's a problem with premise 1, which would then mean all moral judgments independently of our desires influence our actions and feelings. This seems false since there are people who accept moral judgments but have no desire or motivation to follow them. The actions and feelings of such a person thus wouldn't be influenced by these moral judgments. If we take influences in the second sense, then there is a problem with premise 2, which would then mean no discovery of truth or falsehood, when combined with our desires, influences our actions and feelings. This also seems false, since the discovery of the truth that this flame would burn our finger, combined with our desire not to get burned, surely influences our actions and desires. Hume's argument is plausible because influences is ambiguous. Depending on how we take this term, one premise or the other becomes false or doubtful. So Hume's argument is flawed. Here we've combined formal techniques, expressing an argument in logical system, with informal methods, common sense judgments, definitions, and the fallacy of ambiguity. We've used these to formulate and criticize an argument on the foundations of ethics. Our criticisms, of course, might not be final. A Hume defender might attack our arguments against Hume's premises, suggest another reading of the argument, or rephrase the premises to avoid our criticisms. But our criticisms, if clearly and logically expressed, will likely move the discussion forward. At its best, philosophical discussion involves reasoning together in a clear-headed logical manner. It's important to be fair when we criticize another's reasoning. Such criticism can be part of a common search for truth. We shouldn't let it descend into a vain attempt to score points. In appraising the reasoning of others, we should follow the same standards of fairness that we want others to follow in their appraisal of our reasoning. Distortions and other fallacies are beneath the dignity of beings, such as ourselves, who are capable of reasoning. So that concludes all the new material that we're covering for the course. So now we're going to review the unit.
Misuse of statistics occurs when data are misrepresented to make a point.
Did you know that disco record sales were up 400% for the year ending 1976? If these trends continue, hey!
Your fish are dead.
Yeah, I know. I can't get them out of there.
In this clip, Disco Stew, intentionally or not, misrepresents sales of disco records by focusing on their most positive growth period, while ignoring the fact that 20 plus years have passed since that time. He manipulates statistics to make them seem more favorable than they actually are. By representing data in a way that is misleading, Disco Stew makes a misuse of statistics.
Subscribe to Colburn Classroom and be on the lookout for new videos.
So that one was the misuse of statistics. Now we'll go over ad hominem.
Ad hominem occurs when someone attacks the character or motives of a person instead of focusing on the issues.
I'm sorry my opponent didn't think enough of you to show up for this debate. I'm sure he had more important things to do.
Sorry I'm late, everyone. Somebody tampered with my brakes.
Well, then you should have been early.
Hey, got you there, eh?
Oh, come on, people. This man has promised round-the-clock trash pickup. That's impossible.
Not if we hire more men. And my men will do all your messy jobs. They'll wash your car, scrub your shower, air out your stinkables.
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Well, then you better turn up your hearing aid, Pops.
Pops? I'm only 2 years older than you.
Do we want old man Patterson here with his finger on the button?
What button? What the hell are you talking about?
What button? Where am I? Who took my false teeth?
All right, fine. If you want an experienced public servant, vote for me. But if you want to believe a bunch of crazy promises about garbage men cleaning your gutters and waxing your car, then by all means vote for this sleazy lunatic.
In this clip, Homer attacks the credibility of Ray Patterson simply because he appears old. In other words, he asserts that Patterson is not competent because he has gray hair. Patterson's ideas are, of course, independent of his looks. By not seeing Patterson for his ideas and instead seeing him in terms of his looks, Homer commits the ad hominem fallacy.
Subscribe to Colbert Classroom and be on.
So now we'll review the straw man fallacy.
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help. This sentence is grammatically correct.
Straw man fallacy. To present a weak argument that can easily be refuted so that your argument looks better by contrast.
I can't believe they invented it!
Hello, everybody. I'm Troy McClure, star of such films as P is for Psycho and The President's Neck is Missing. But now I'm here to tell you about a remarkable new invention. Until now, this was the only way to get juice from an orange.
You mean there's a better way?
But that's all changed, thanks to the juice loosener. Let's meet the inventor, Dr. Nick Riviera.
Hello, Toy. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
Toy, would you like a glass of orange juice?
I sure would. But won't we have to pay those outrageous grocery store prices for something the farmer probably spit in?
Not anymore. All thanks to the new juice loosener.
Doctor, are you sure it's on? I can't hear a thing.
It's Mr. Quiet.
You got all that from one bag of oranges?
In this clip, Troy McClure tries to persuade infomercial viewers that the juice loosener is a useful invention by first asserting that the only other way to get juice out of an orange was squeezing it against your face. He deliberately sets up a weaker argument, that of getting juice out of an orange by squeezing it against your face, so that the juice loosener looks better by contrast. By setting up a weak argument to be refuted, and making his own argument look better by contrast, Troy McClure creates a straw man.
Subscribe to Colbert Classroom and be on the.
So next we'll go over the bandwagon fallacy.
I reached out and touched the sky.
What makes a
Bandwagon fallacy occurs when you try to convince people that something is true because it is widely held to be true.
Alex, over here! Okay, if the new girl sits with us?
Oh, okay, I guess.
She's a little weird, but let's give her a chance. Guys, this is Alex.
Hi there.
Hi.
Ooh, twins. Which one is the evil one?
Okay, I'll go get our lunches.
So, Alex, leave just a sec. Hello?
Huh?
Oh, yeah, like I'd be seen with a Discover card.
You have a cell phone? And a purse? That's it. Don't be shy. Now maybe a little joke to break the ice. Or a big joke. Careful now. Nobody likes to show off. Where are they going? Hey, wait up! They left without me. So there I am, being nice to Alex, and she takes all of my friends and ditches me.
I'm sure they didn't ditch you, honey. Maybe they went off to plan a surprise party for you.
Oh, yeah. Good one, Mom. They only like her because she acts so grown up with her perfume and her cell phone and... Oh, and get this, Mom. She drinks iced tea.
Lisa, I can't imagine anyone being more likable than you. But apparently this new girl is. So my advice would be to start copying her in every way.
But, Dad...
Think. Is that what Alex would say?
In this clip, Homer tells Lisa that she should do whatever makes her popular. He says Lisa should act the way the popular girl in school acts because being popular is more important than being herself. Lisa wants to act her age and enjoy being a child, but Homer advises that she do what Alex does, which would mean acting more adult. By advising Lisa to do something merely because it would bring popularity, Homer commits the bandwagon fallacy.
Subscribe to Colbert Classroom and be on the lookout for new...
So next we'll go for a non sequitur.
Hey, you. Yes, you. I need you to take our quick, one-question survey before it closes at midnight tonight.
Non sequitur, when a conclusion does not follow from its premises.
Okay, but somewhere out there, something is watching us. There are alien forces acting in ways we can't perceive. Are we alone in the universe? Impossible. When you consider the wonders that exist all around us. Voodoo priests of Haiti, the Tibetan numerologists of Appalachia, the unsolved mysteries of unsolved mysteries. The truth is out there.
No! Oh, who'd have thought a whale could be so heavy? She's at the fence!
In this clip, Mulder assumes that because anomalies exist in the world, that there must be alien life forms responsible. He draws a conclusion that does not follow logically from its premises. Not only are there other possible explanations for his unsolved mysteries, but also there is a logical gap when he begins by talking about those mysteries and then assumes aliens exist. By asserting a logical connection where one does not exist, Mulder uses a non sequitur.
Subscribe to Colbert Classroom and be on the lookout for new...
So next we'll go over red herring.
Red raises an irrelevant side issue to divert attention from the real issue.
Down with taxes! Down with taxes! Down with taxes!
You think of the children!
Are these morons getting dumber or just louder?
Dumber, sir. They won't give up the Bear Patrol, but they won't pay taxes for it either.
Ducking this issue calls for real leadership. People, your taxes are high because of illegal immigrants. That's right, illegal immigrants. We need to get rid of them.
Immigrants, I knew it was them. Even when it was the bears, I knew it was them.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
In 1 week, the town will vote on a special referendum whether or not to deport all illegal immigrants from Springfield. It shall be known as Proposition 24.
In this clip, Mayor Quimby distracts the voters from the issue of higher taxes. By bringing up the issue of illegal immigrants, the mayor diverts the attention of the citizens away from the taxes. Although the mayor asserts a connection between the two issues, the citizens soon forget about the tax issue completely and focus on the issue of illegal immigrants. By using a distraction to divert attention from the real issue, Mayor Quimby uses a red herring.
Subscribe to Colbert Classroom and be on the lookout.
Tub, horse wranglers, and multitasking actresses like me all use that.
Circular supports a statement by restating it in different terms.
What am I doing? What will I do?
The politics of failure have failed. We need to make them work again. Tomorrow, when you are sealed in the voting cubicle, vote for me, Senator Bob Dole.
I am looking forward to an orderly election tomorrow, which will eliminate the need for a violent bloodbath. America, take a good look at your beloved candidates. They're nothing but hideous space reptiles. It's true. We are aliens. But what are you going to do about it? It's a two-party system. You have to vote for one of us.
He's right. This is a two-party system. Well, I believe I'll vote for a third-party candidate.
Go ahead. Throw your vote away.
In this clip, Kang and Kodos convince the humans not to vote for a third-party candidate by asserting that it would be a waste of their vote. In other words, they suggest that no one should vote for a third-party candidate because no one votes for third-party candidates. If people simply ignored the aliens' advice, then third-party candidates would suddenly become viable. By supporting a statement by restating it in different terms, Kang and Kodos apply circular reasoning.
Subscribe to Colbert Classroom and be on the lookout for new videos.
Weak analogy. When two things are portrayed as alike when actually they are not.
Me and the boys wish to thank you for hanging on to this stuff for us.
Thanks. Say, are you guys crooks?
But, is it wrong to steal a loaf of bread to feed your starving family?
No.
Well, suppose you got a large starving family. Is it wrong to steal a truckload of bread to feed them? And what if your family don't like bread? They like cigarettes.
I guess that's okay.
Now, what if instead of giving them away, you sold them at a price that was practically giving them away? Would that be a crime, Bart?
Hell no.
Enjoy your gift.
Superb.
In this clip, Fat Tony convinces Bart that it's okay to steal and sell cigarettes by comparing it to stealing bread to feed one's starving family. There is a gap in his logic because while in one example someone is stealing to save lives, an end that might justify its means, the other example involves stealing to increase one's personal wealth, a less laudable end. Fat Tony also glosses over the fact that he is not giving away what he steals, but selling it. By making a comparison that is not justified, Fat Tony uses a weak analogy.
Subscribe to Colbert Classroom and be on the lookout for new videos.
There is a huge fundraising deadline coming up for Senate Democrats, and they need your help right now if they're going to meet it.
You also asserts that a statement is false because it is inconsistent with what the speaker has said or done.
And now, to present the grant money, a legendary figure in educational disbursement, State Comptroller Atkins.
Woo!
Thank you. I'm here tonight to honor the girl whose unprecedented test score has set a new standard in excellence. Lisa?
Thank you. I know this giant check is very important to everyone here, but what's even more important is the truth. Because after all, education is the search for truth.
No, it isn't. Don't listen to her. She's out of her mind.
And the truth is, we don't deserve this grant, and I don't deserve your applause. I cheated on that test.
Wait! How dare you condemn this girl? Who among you can honestly say you've never cheated? On your wives? Or your husbands? What she just did took courage. And where I come from, Canada, we reward courage. So I hereby decree that you keep the grant. And let's give this brave girl the ovation she deserves!
Oh, honey, I'm so proud of you. You got the highest grade in the class.
But, Mom...
The highest grade.
Okay, Lisa's gone.
Places, people!
Oh, man. Acting is tough. I'll be in my trailer.
Oh, good old predictable Lisa. I knew her conscience was a ticking time bomb.
Heads up! Here comes the real comptroller.
In this clip, the state comptroller, who we later learn is being impersonated by Otto, tells the audience that they do not have the right to condemn Lisa for cheating on a test when they themselves may have done the same thing in different ways. Essentially, he says that the audience is wrong because they have done the same wrong thing. But while the audience may be hypocritical, this does not justify or make right Lisa's actions. If it is wrong for the audience to cheat, then so too is it wrong for Lisa to do so. By saying the audience is wrong because its actions are inconsistent with its ideal, Otto commits the you also fallacy.
Subscribe to Colbert Classroom and be on the lookout for new videos.
So we don't have enough time for more review videos, so I'll go over what the homework is. So for this week, everyone will get a worksheet with 15 questions on constructing arguments, which will be due next Monday, September 7th. And for the final project, which is due on September 14th, there are 3 options, and I'll post the details on Google Classroom later. So the first option is analyzing a political speech. Second one is researching a cognitive bias, and the third one is researching a conspiracy theory. So this marks the end of our Introduction to Logic course. Thank you for coming, and we hope you enjoyed your time.
Well, I was the only one here.
Yeah, we usually have a lot more students, but today a lot of them are starting school.
Okay.